Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good day ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the monthly compliance and legislation update for October 2019. On behalf of the South African Accounting Academy, my name is Lettie Janse van Vuuren and I will be your facilitator for the next 2 hours. Let's just get some logistics out of the way. Those of you that have not attended my webinars before, the webinar is supplemented by the slideshow presentation that you should already have downloaded to your machines. Then in addition to that, we've got monthly webinar material as well as source documents, which is uploaded to your profile after the webinar. On the agenda for today, let's have a quick look. For accounting, we've got one item, just a short and sweet what's new, what's the summary. Under auditing and other assurance services, 2 items, but they do relate to the same topic. Under company secretarial, only 2 items this month. Really, I'm sure we all know that they had experienced a lot of downtime. So yeah, they haven't had any big notices or any groundbreaking stuff being published. Under employment law this month, we've got 3 items. Under other laws and regulations, we have 4 items. And then under taxation, a whopping 14 items. Now, this is just also because there are some new guides that I found, and I managed to find them quite by accident. They're not anywhere under the SARS What's New section. So I'll show you what those are, and they are quite useful to you to have. Then under regulated news, we've got 14 items. We do have 1 or 2 newsletters that we cover in there as well. Actually, I think about 3 newsletters. And yeah, we'll follow that. That's nothing too important, but we do have a lot of stuff from FIC and from the FSCA as well. Right, I think there were 7 or 8 warnings issued against fraudulent financial service providers this month. And then under general announcements or news releases, just one item that I found in the newspaper, and it started in Roodepoort, and I believe that it has spread like a wildfire to other sections in Joburg as well. So I don't know if it's hit other parts of the country, but it is all around, it centers around a new SIM swap scam that the scallums are busy with. All right. So that's what's on the agenda. Let's get straight into our first topic update for accounting. So in the IFRS monthly news summary, let's have a look. We've got 4 important topics. What I did is they have not issued a monthly news summary for the last 2 months. So what I've done is I've actually gone onto the website and I've gone into their what's news and their updates and everything. And this is what I've identified. All right. So they are busy now with the August 2019 IFRS for SMEs updates. So just if you didn't know, the IFRS for SMEs standard updates, it's a quarterly summary of all the news and events and all the other information about the IFRS for SME standard and related SME activities. So the staff summary has not been reviewed by the IASB, but it is provided to you. So if I can quickly just refer you to my material, let me just quickly go and show you what this looks like here. There we go, the contents of this month's IFRS for SMEs update. There's an update on the comprehensive review of the standard because that's what they're busy with. They had to obviously wait for IFRS to be finalized first, and now it's IFRS for SMEs. There's also discussing the IFRS for SME standard at the Africa Congress of Accountants. There was a conference that was held, and this was just a discussion around that. The SME implementation group issues draft Q&A. That's always very important. Very nice to see because it's the implementation group, or as they call it, SMAG. You would have seen SMEIG somewhere before. So the draft Q&As here, there's no set answers. And remember, the IASB does not interfere with this. This is purely perception problems and maybe some ambiguity issues where things can be interpreted one of 2 ways. And the support staff actually recognize that. All right, and then there was just a little bit of a spotlight on the implementation group as to exactly what their function is. So this is just to make us understand why this happens every quarter. All right, so the second one tells us that they are busy with better information about business combinations. It is very specialized, but it is regarding goodwill and impairment. So if you look on the slide there, it says there, it is a research project following the post-implementation review of IFRS 3. So IFRS 3 is on business combinations. Basically what they're busy doing is the IASB is investigating how companies can provide users of the financials with better information about mergers and acquisitions at a reasonable cost. This has to be key. People don't want to pay half an arm and lose a leg in the process. Right. So it has to be at a reasonable cost. And the investigation then includes the challenging question of how companies should account for goodwill after the business combination. So there's an article that Tom Scott wrote. He's a member of the board, and he discusses the board's preliminary views and how stakeholders can actually help the board by commenting on the discussion papers that are up and coming. So it's just a question of saying, we know that it's an issue, but the more you comment, the better equipped they will be to deal with your comments. Right. The third topic deals with the IASB that have amended the IFRS standards in response to the IBOR reform. Now, IBOR stands for Interbank Offered Rates, IBOR. Okay? So all of these, it's basically dealing with the board has amended their old and their new financial instrument standards, which is IFRS 9 on financial instruments and IFRS 39 on financial instruments recognition and measurements, as well as then the standard on disclosures, which is IFRS 7. IFRS 7, which deals with disclosures of financial instruments. Now, these amendments do modify some specific hedge accounting requirements, and that's going to provide relief from potential effects of the uncertainty caused by the IBOR reform. So in addition to this, the amendments then require companies to provide additional information to investors about their hedging relationships that are directly affected by these uncertainties. So it's all just once again bringing forth the spirit of transparency and sharing that with the users so that the investors and potential investors will have that additional information at hand when they've got to make their economic decisions. Right. So these amendments will be coming into effect from the 1st of January, but the companies can obviously start to apply those earlier. Right. So there's, in terms of, remember the IBOR reform amends IFRS 9, IAS 39 and IFRS 7. Right. There is a project summary available, and I've included a link for you in your material to that. The fourth item is the September 2019 IASB update that's been published. Now, all that this is basically just a list of topics that were discussed at the September meeting. And I've gotten links to all of those items in there for you. And I think the most important one there would be the SME standard review and updates, as well as maybe a little bit on subsidiaries that are SMEs. But there's a link in your material, and you can have a link to all of that. All right. So that's the IFRS update for this month. Let's move on to our auditing and other assurance services. On the slide, as you can see, this talks about an IRBA alert that was issued. IRBA issued this alert on the 13th of September. And what this is all about is basically just to say it's a reminder that ISA 540, which has been revised long ago already, it's been revised last year, November, and I think this year, November, and this year, early Feb, they also issued documents just to say what some of the major changes are. So they're just saying, remember that the new ISA 540 is effective, and it becomes effective for audits of financial statements for periods beginning on or after 15 December 2019. So literally your first year end will be December 2020. And if we are looking at your standard Feb year ends, you guys will know that that'll be Feb 2021. Now, what I found on your slide you'll see that I've got in there some of these significant revisions. What does it actually include?
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.